What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this new episode of the Eskwilax Hour. I'm Efrain. Today we're on York Boulevard, and today we have our guest artist,
Hello.
Victoria Ester Orantes.
Hello,
Did
everybody.
I get that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. First, thank you guys for being here again today in this new episode. And as I mentioned today, this is considered like Highland Park.
This is considered Highland Park, yes.
Okay. All right. So as you guys can see visually, we have a lot of great artwork, a lot of fashion going on with this artist. And do you reside in Highland Park?
I do for the last 4 years, yes. But I'm originally from Echo Park, but Los Angeles native.
Nice. Nice. How do you feel today? Can you tell us a little bit what's going on right here in the background?
Well, immediately I feel like I'm melting. But what's going on is we're having cruise night at Denny's on York Boulevard. So this is Eagle Rock Trompers as well as Timeless Auto Works that came together, and we're all showcasing our classic cars.
Are you part of their car club?
I am not, because my vehicle is German and they are American vehicles.
Mm.
So I don't qualify, but we're all good friends and I am here enjoying it regardless.
Well, that means definitely you guys have a really good community going on.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Nice. And so you said you used to live in Echo Park. Is that where like you kind of grew up and like grew in the arts out there, or?
Well, I grew up in Echo Park, but I wasn't part of any art scene. I don't think Echo Park became artsy until, gentrification, all of that happened.
Yeah, of
But there's
course.
always been an art culture in Highland Park, in Echo Park, and all across Los Angeles. I would guess it's really just like what phase of art we're talking about. But I've always just done my own thing, so there hasn't really been like an art culture that I've been a part of. Even now, this is entirely me just doing my own thing.
And can you tell a little bit about your roots, like your family roots, or and share a little bit of that? Because I was.
Family roots?
Uh-huh.
Well, also, my grandparents were immigrants from Mexico and Guatemala, and my parents were born here. But I think, for the most part, I'm the black sheep of the family. We've had a couple of artists, especially my grandfather, who
I was
was
gonna ask that. Yeah.
an excellent furniture maker. But regarding painters and things like that, not really. So it's just me being that little egg in my mother, the little weird artist. Yeah.
No. We as artists, we tend to stand out, and
Mhm.
sometimes we're not everyone's favorite flavor, I guess. But it's okay. We walk
That's
our
totally
own,
fine. Exactly.
our own roads.
Exactly.
And I was mentioning earlier, like, is it V.E.O or V.E.O? You tell us a little about your art.
Well, I pronounce it to be V.E.O Visions because they are my initials, but it was strategically planned that way, I guess. I used my initials intentionally, not only to represent me as an individual, but also because V.E.O in Spanish means I see V.E.O. So really my boutique means I see vision. So it's a combination of really like everything that goes on in my head. So it's really hard to pick, especially as an artist, and sometimes because there's so many things that interest us. Like, part of being an artist is about being curious and wanting to explore different things. So how could I just be a painter when, also poetry draws me in, and fashion and community and jewelry. So I see visions these are all the things I see and all the things that interest me.
Yeah, because when I was reading about you a little bit online, I did notice the top three that you mentioned were like your poetry,
Yes.
your paintings, and your fashion.
Mhm.
So yeah, poetry, painting, and fashion. And I guess what I was gonna ask was, do you choose one over the other, or does it depend like the time or where you're at in life, or or do you love them all equally?
Well, I think part of being an artist is really being overly curious about everything. It's very hard to put yourself in a box when everything draws your attention. So, in my case anyway, I enjoy fashion, jewelry, painting, poetry. Life is just full of so many interesting possibilities. I mean, I would do pottery and all of those things if I could
Oh,
and
wow.
fit it in here, but you kind of got to pick something. But for all of the things that interest me that I can fit in this vehicle, I think they're all relevant at different parts, or like they all come together like a little family attached to my little Volkswagen. Yeah.
I guess my next question would be: did you do you have formal training in like when it comes to painting, poetry, or fashion?
Well, when it comes to painting, for the most part, I'm self-taught. When I was a little girl, I did take like painting classes on the weekend, but they're more like programs to keep you occupied.
Yeah.
But wonderful programs nonetheless. They kept me out of trouble for sure. But painting, poetry, pretty much self-taught. What I do have a formal education in is in fashion. That's where I
Okay.
have my associate's degree. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit your outfit of the day today?
Oh, sure. Well, I have an addiction to thrifting, so Goodwill bins. Gotta flex the thrift. $2. It's I think a Vietnamese garb. My hair should be in a bun. Sorry for not being traditional, but also platform sandals. Thanks to Goodwill. Love thrifting and. All of the things that I have on my Volkswagen were basically Goodwill finds as well, say from the landfill, but not overly priced. Everything is very accessible because I want to always keep the community in mind.
All right.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Again, it is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Really, as people can see right here, they can see the energy through the camera
I
with
hope
everything
so.
going on here, all
good.
the colors and the painting, the clothing,
Yeah.
and let me see. I also read that you used to when you started with the or I don't know if you started back then, but like you were at Echo Park,
Yes.
you were like vending at Echo Park.
Yes. But it was a completely different situation. That's really when I made my formal decision. Like, I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do and be an artist. I think there's like a turning point in every creative's life where it's just like, I got to just explore this or else I'll never know. So that was what it was for me. It really was just me in a rolly cart pulling up a blanket, throwing it on the grass, and just selling my art prints. I didn't bring any paintings. It was really just anything that fit in my rolly cart, which was a blanket, a couple of pieces of jewelry, and art prints. And that's really where all of this started. Just being determined to be brave to be an artist.
What year was that?
Uh, just before the pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah. So what was that? 2021?
were you there during the pandemic?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, it's because funny that me and Henry and a couple of friends we used to go sell vegan hot chocolate out there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
We
but
might
we
have
were
crossed
more
paths
nighttime.
years
Yeah,
ago,
we were
yeah.
like more nighttime. That's what I was asking.
No,
Like,
I'm
yeah,
daytime. Yeah, I
yeah,
had no lights. I had no room for lights in my rolly cart. It was just
yeah,
a couple hours in the daytime and then pack up and go.
yeah. Because Echo Park was back then. I guess it was more free because
Right.
the whole pandemic and
Right.
people.
Yeah.
I think we weren't supposed to be there at all,
Probably
but yeah, we ended up just going there trying to do a little bit of vending when it
Mhm.
came to like food. But that's what I was mentioning. I'm like maybe we cross paths somehow.
Perhaps.
But yeah.
Perhaps.
So you say you would roll up there with your like cart and then just
And
post
just
up.
set up exactly.
Yeah.
hmm
And you said it was prints. Like what kind of prints did you have?
Basically, the prints that I have in the front of the vehicle were it was like not even they weren't even like formally packaged. Now I've learned like you have to put them in the special plastic and you got to put the background and all of that. It wasn't even that. It was just me going to a print shop, cutting them out and selling them. They look like postcards basically.
Was
But
there a theme?
not
to
really.
the-
They were all just my paintings. But really, the whole reason that I started going to Echo Park was because when I've always liked doing art, but I think the people that I was around immediately when I was growing up, it was like, oh, your art is kind of scary. But
Oh.
I think what people don't understand is like a lot of artists are just trying to find their therapy, their way of like articulating what's going on because we just got a lot of feelings and we're not trying to be dark or scary most of the time. It's just a way for us to stay sane. So I wanted to go down to Echo Park and see like, okay, are my paintings really going to scare everybody away? Is that true? I want to find out for myself. And it was completely the opposite. I had children coming over and just loving my art. It was a completely different energy than I was told that I was going to experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why they would tell you they were, like,
It's
if they're like this.
Art is subjective. So
Yeah.
really it's something that each artist has to find out for themselves.
I guess an artist to artist, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I would be like, oh, this is dope, like this is wonderful. But as far as scary, I don't see it, in my opinion. I tend to try to read into the art, like
Mhm.
try to see what the message is, what the symbolism are. Because I've noticed you use a lot of like flowers and nature
Yes.
and a lot of leaves.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's subjective. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
It is. And it's just what comes naturally to me, really. Like, I mean, my paintings used to be very gory. Actually, they weren't even paintings. They were just like sketches on the corner of like my chemistry homework, you know? It wasn't really the same thing. But now, like, after I went through my like whole rock bottom situation, this is what came out of me naturally. It's my love for nature, my love for psychology and humans and being alive. It's like, this is what comes out naturally.
Can you share with us a little bit, if you can, why you were painting like gory or in that sense?
Oh, I was just a grumpy teenager. That's all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But this is totally different.
Well, did you listen to certain type of music like that
I
went
still
along
listen
with
to the
it?
same type of music, I would say, but you know, like it's like the first time you hear Linkin Park, like that becomes your whole identity. Now it's like I listen to Linkin Park or Evanescence, and it's not like debilitating emotionally. It's just like, oh, this is fun, you know. But it's a different experience. It's just part of growing up. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you went from the vending at Echo Park, and then you got the Volkswagen.
No, actually, I had the Volkswagen
Oh, you had it?
already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is my first car. Actually,
Oh.
I've had this car right now to this day 10 years, but it was sitting in my family's backyard like for the first several years because I had this crazy idea where I wanted to be the cool girl in college and drive up in my stick shift car, but you know.
Oh,
you
it's
need
stick shift?
It's stick shift,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
But of course,
Oh.
you need to learn how to drive stick
Yeah,
shift.
I haven't learned yet.
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed to say it. I just
That's
you
all
know.
right. That's all right. I'm
Yeah.
silently judging you.
It's all right.
I'm just kidding. No, but you also have to be willing to work on cars, and I had none of those skills when I got.
I was
the
gonna
car.
ask that. I'm like, do you work on your own cars?
I'm learning now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
learning now,
That's
but
dope.
I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But
I'll
definitely.
bring you in my car and
Oh sure,
be like, oh, 'cause
sure.
I've never learned any of that.
Meanwhile, I don't know what I'm doing. The labor's free. Yes, absolutely. But no, I've had this car for 10 years. So when I started doing the Echo Park thing, I probably had the car maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And then once I had been like vending for a few months or a couple months, I don't really remember. I was like, I want to expand this. I just need a cool car. And I kid you not, it took me like several months. I was like looking online for some kind of van or something. It never dawned on me. And then I was like, wait a second, I already own a car. And that's how it started, really. Just one weekend, I'm like, I'm converting this into a boutique. And I reupholstered the interior, completely redid everything, and I decided it was a mobile boutique.
Did you paint it, or is this the original color?
No, a friend of mine, shout out Underground Customs, Martin. He and I painted this about a month ago. So it was already looking kind of scruffy, but now she's intentionally scruffy, patina. Yeah, so
What was that, the name?
No, like it was looking pretty busted like a few months ago. Yeah.
Oh.
But Martin helped me make it look pretty busted, like pretty, you know, patina, not
Yeah.
So I wanted to go like elegant Mad Max kind of. So that's why there's like a coppery gold patina look. That's fake rust. I just crumpled up some newspaper, spray cans, and made it look all.
You guys went in.
Oh yeah, it was a wonderful
whole art
time.
project,
One
yeah.
day we did it all. So like Martin's the man. You gotta call him if you need any work done. Yeah.
And then you also have some writing on the windows, right?
Oh yes, that's by Melissa. I don't remember her Instagram, but also
It's Touchly.
That's right.
Yeah.
that's right. That's
We
right.
met her before. Yeah.
Oh, she's wonderful. So she did this also just before this art tour. So Martin and Melissa helped me get all this ready before the art tour, because I think it's important for artists to support artists. It's just, you know, we have to know when our finances are able to support that.
How many more stops on this art tour?
Well, hopefully several. The thing is, because I'm a pop-up boutique, the
Yeah.
weather, I'm always at the mercy of the weather.
Yeah, like right now,
Like
guys.
right now. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That way, people can know that they follow you online and they, come out, support, and purchase a couple of the items, the art, the poetry, and thank you for sharing that with us
Thank you, guys.
and being open, with us like that. And we're gonna take a little bit quick break,
Of course.
and we're gonna be back, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Are here in beautiful Highland Park, Victoria, and stay tuned. Go get some water.
Go get some water.
Okay, guys, we are back. This is season 16 of the Eskwilax Hour with Victoria today.
Hey.
And we were talking about her current art tour and her Volkswagen. And is it V.E.O, right?
V.E.O Visions, yes.
And you were telling me, what does it stand for? Is your initials, right? But it's also, there's more to it.
Correct. So V.E.O, or my initials, Victoria Ester Orantes, and then Visions. But V.E.O just happens to mean I see in Spanish. So it's I see visions. So V.E.O Visions, I see visions. So basically it's meant to say, like, I don't want to just be limited to paintings and poetry. I also want to include other things that I see and appreciate in this boutique.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, then the other half we were talking about how you got the car, the work you put into it, and how you you've added to it just so it could like go with the art. Can you tell me a little bit about the back part of it? It has like a canvas on there.
Yes. So basically, I don't want this whole situation to just be about me. That's not
Yeah.
the case. I know it might seem like that because some of my paintings are self-portraits, but there's more to that. But really, like, I want this to be a mobile boutique that encourages other people to explore their creativity. So this is a community canvas because what I realize is, like, all of us, when we're young, we begin as artists, right? We're all
Yeah.
painting, we're all drawing, but we stop, right? Because somebody in our elementary school class becomes the artist and somebody else is like the smart one or something. So, like, we get assigned identities.
Yeah.
And for those that really enjoyed it, suddenly feel like they can't paint because they're not the artist of the class. So they stop. So this is to, like, touch that part of themselves again. Most people that paint on it haven't painted in years, so it's just a form for them to reconnect with their younger selves. And the first thing I always get is, I'm not a good painter, and it's like, it's not about that. It's just about enjoying the process.
And do you paint over it every time, or do you put a new canvas?
Well, no, I don't ever paint on it. This is
No,
for the
no.
community.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, once it's like full, like, do people just keep going over it?
Oh,
or?
I rotate it. So I let it develop, and when I see that it looks complete, then I'll rotate it. So right now I have about 4 canvases that are complete, and then one day I hope to have them displayed.
Yeah, I guess that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna go towards. Like, if there was like gonna be like an art show where they're all gonna be,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting, and especially if the people that did paint on them, whereas like if it's when they were younger, and then you get to do this later down the line, and then like, oh, I did that when I was,
Exactly.
in this
yeah.
part of my life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. And how do you choose like what to take on your tour? Like, because I know you must have like a lot of paintings, a lot of like the clothing, a lot of the like just the items. Is there like a way you pick them, or you just go with where you're gonna go for that day?
Well, I think for the most part, I'm always carrying what I have. It's just a matter of what space I'm showcasing in that day that I can how much can I actually bring out. Like, there's actually more to the boutique, but just because it's a car show today, it would be selfish of me to take up more space. So I don't have like the men's clothing out. I don't have the paintings on the roof because it's boiling hot and there are probably not going to be paintings anymore by the end of the interview. So so it really just depends on working with the space and being mindful of my surroundings.
And yeah, I mean, what's the farthest you've driven for like your mobile boutique?
Well, before we replaced the electric fuel pump, probably 5 miles. But now I have more confidence in the vehicle. Hopefully, the first week of July, she and I are making it to Long Beach. We'll see.
Long Beach,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
But the furthest I've driven, I think it was when I went to get the car painted with Martin, which was about 10 miles away from here. So in one day, I drove 20 miles with the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
That was bizarre to me. But that was after the electric fuel pump replacement, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the thing with old cars is obviously they're supposed to be retired by now. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be in some kind of junkyard or something like that. But she's not retiring anytime
Yeah,
soon.
no, definitely no, don't.
But originally the fuel pump is, well, the engine is in the back of the vehicle.
Okay.
So the fuel pump originally is mechanical. I tried an electric fuel pump, which was back here, but the fuel wasn't making it to the back because the fuel pump is in the front. So it would shut off while I was driving. So my mechanic and I figured out, which is Seba, Boston Auto House, Avenue 64, fantastic guy, helped me figure out a way to make it run. So we moved the electric fuel pump to the front, right under the fuel tank. So now it's getting the fuel delivered, and the ride is much more reliable. We'll see if I make it to Long Beach. If I don't,
No, you will. You will. You will. No, you will. You
if
will.
I don't, I have AAA. Shout out AAA.
No. Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing all that knowledge. Because you guys can tell I'm not, I don't know much about cars like that deep,
Uh-huh.
but, she definitely does. She knows her stuff.
I'm
Cause
still an
just-
infant in
I'm listening
mechanics.
to this.
Oh,
I'm like,
thanks.
yeah, I need to learn a lot of those words. But thank you. And moving from like your mobile boutique, I want to talk to a little bit about your poetry.
Oh,
How can we know a little bit about it? Is there any of it in this piece in particular, or because I see right here, it's like the title of that is "Watcher of the World," right?
Watcher of the Wild.
The
yes.
Wild. Okay.
Well, the poem, I don't have them memorized. Unfortunately, one day when I've got time, I'll memorize my own poetry. But they're usually, depending on if I get the message across, like they're short or they're long. This one's kind of long because it was really an experience that I had to. I had never had before, so I needed to articulate it somehow in poetry. But it's basically about being inspired by somebody from afar and not being able to tell them. So that's why it's called Watcher of the Wild, So the poem basically articulates that experience.
And when it comes to your poetry, do you use like structure or? Because I'm not big on like the education on poetry. But I remember like the few things I learned that there's like haiku and then there's like rhyming schemes.
Yes.
Is that something you follow or you just go from the heart?
No, poetry, for the most part, I'm self-taught as well. But I do follow my own rules, which are that each couplet of lines has to rhyme and that each couplet that rhymes has the same amount of syllables. So I want to challenge myself to have some kind of structure. As much as I like to be free-spirited, I also like to have rules. So that's the patterns you'll find in my poetry. There's structure to it.
And do you do like poems in Spanish and English or like bilingual? Like
Not
is
yet,
that something
no.
you do?
No. One day I'll have them bilingual and memorized, but right now just English.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do.
Okay. So do you read poetry in Spanish?
Do I read poetry in Spanish? Like on my free time, I don't. I, for the most part, actually read nonfiction.
Okay. All right.
Poetry is really just kind of how the painting bleeds out.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop there with the paintings. It has to be written down
Yeah.
somehow. But personally, I read poetry every now and then. Because I'm more of a person that likes to gather facts. And I already have a lot of things going on in my head. So to access somebody else's, I can't do that all the time because it would be a
Okay.
lot of chaos, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
No, I was just asking because like I have written poetry myself before, and like you say, like I just kind of don't follow certain rules
Right.
or structure. I just kind of go with like what I feel for the moment. You said you read. What's your favorite book at the moment?
My favorite book at the moment, I would say it's my favorite book of all time, which is Hunchback of Notre Dame. I didn't read it. I audiobooked it, and I
Yeah.
hated it the first half because the way Victor Hugo sets up his stories is like introducing each
Yeah.
and every character, extremely detailed. And I was about to give up on the book, and then I was like, just stick with it. And then once he actually started with the plot, it literally tore me to pieces the way the story ended. Maybe people will hate me for saying this. I do like the Disney version of the movie. I'm so sorry. Right, that's okay. I would understand if you walked away. It's okay. No. I do like the Disney film because I think it's like the perfect child, like the perfect interpretation for like a child storyline. But yeah, the actual story is very mature.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask if you read like the original one.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I was completely shattered when I finished the book. But I
Yeah.
really do recommend it. But it takes a certain kind of patience, which is why I audiobooked it. I
Yeah.
audiobook a lot of things because to be a painter and a poet and have a job and be self-motivated. I mean, how do you fit all these things and laundry and everything? So, I mean, to sit down
Yeah.
and read a book and finish something that thick, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, no, a lot of
shout out to audiobooks.
a lot of our
Yeah.
like other artists that I met, yeah, they're on the same page where they're painting and they're listening to books
Yeah,
while they're painting.
Exactly.
Because we can only do so much, and
Exactly.
so we're not judging you. That's good.
I hope not.
No,
'Cause I'm being real.
No. Yeah, exactly. That's what
Time
we're
is of the
about here.
essence, yeah.
Yeah. So the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and we'll see when you do like I don't know if you this isn't for everyone, but some people they mention like there'll be a time where they hit like a art block. Is that something that happens to you, or is that something you believe in? Because sometimes people are like, no, that doesn't exist, but it's everybody on their own. So
Yeah, I think we all hit art blocks, honestly. But as like a certified overthinker, I think that's what art block is. It's just overthinking. Like I should have an idea all the time. Honestly, I think the idea for art comes from living your life. It doesn't come from sitting in a room and expecting yourself to have ideas all the time. Like, yes, our brains are busy and we would hope to have ideas all the time, but you don't get inspired usually until you're out there talking to people. And as much as many of us may be introverts and awkward, it's like you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone. Like, that's what I realized when I started this whole thing. It's like you have to get out of your comfort zone to find inspiration, like, because life is so inspiring, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Well, that's yeah. So
But that's what I've discovered anyway.
if you do hit the block, how do you get out of it?
So I guess remembering, like, get out of your studio and go get a cup of coffee, or like, oh yeah, there's this restaurant I've been wanting to try, or something. Like, go do something unexpected, because that'll reinvigorate me somehow. I need to get out of my own head. That's what I think artist block is, just getting out of your own head.
Would you say something like skydiving?
No. I would not recommend anyone to put their lives on the line. No. I would say try a restaurant that you've always wanted to try. You drive by it from work every day and you're like, I want to go. Just go.
What about out here? Anyone that you recommend?
Oh, Highland Cafe, shout out. Again, I love that place. Great coffee, great food. Motorcycles in the dining room. I mean, like, you have no reason not to go.
I've never been there, and you're making it.
Yeah.
Like,
York Boulevard.
Yeah. That's
and
good.
they're like the most lovely, friendly people. Yes.
All right. Well, cool. I guess last question for now. Till next time, guys. We shoot again. Where do you see like your boutique, your art, yourself in the next like 5 to like 7 years from now?
Well, I don't want to give away my master plan or anything, but
No, just share whatever you want to
sure.
share. Yeah,
Let's see.
not the whole plan, not the whole takeover.
Understanding masterfully the Volkswagen engine, so she and I can go wherever we want, and remembering that to fall in love with the process, so I never stop painting. So in 7 years, hopefully I'll master both of those. Just crank out paintings and like never be obstructed by any mechanical issue ever.
Nice.
Yes.
That's actually pretty smart, because yeah, like you said, if you go far and you need to fix it, you're just gonna open up and just go
That's right.
to work.
Roll up my sleeves, get to work. Yeah.
All right. Before we head out and end this episode on season 16, did you want to share with us anything that we haven't touched on? Or
Give me a second. There's a magnificent engine rolling by.
All right.
Enjoy that, people.
That's the stuff you get here on the Eskwilax
Yeah.
Hour.
Before it's banned in 10 years. Enjoy.
I know. I heard about that. Community, art, paintings, being creative. That's what we're about. Today we were here with Victoria. Any shout outs? Any last shout outs?
Oh my God. There's so many people to be thankful for, honestly. I couldn't list it because then I'd leave people out. But I guess shout out to God. God pulled me through everything. So I'm here thanks to him, and all glory to God. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for being open with us again. Thank you for letting us into your community here, your art. And yeah, this has been another Eskwilax Hour. Efrain, Victoria, and we have Henry in the back. Shout out Henry.
Thank you.
Appreciate what he's doing for us today. And we will see you guys next time. The Eskwilax Hour will bring you paintings, creativity, and everything you can think of. See you guys later.
See ya.